you very much. Thank you all very much for including me in this discussion. Habitat for Humanity has been engaged in sustainability on a lot of different levels for a really long time, so it's really interesting to me to hear how much we parallel across different fields of work and study. Just to give you a little bit of background, I've been engaged with Habitat in one form or another since about 1990, and I am currently the manager of our sustainable building efforts at Habitat International. In 1993, Habitat developed the Department of the Environment, so it's been since '93 that we've had a focus of some degree on sustainability. So just to, in the interest of fairness, a little feedback from you guys. So does everybody recognize the name Habitat for Humanity? Yeah. So how many of you, pretty sure you know what we do, right? And how many of you think you know our criteria for partnership with families? Great, great. So just to talk a little bit about Habitat and what our history looks like, and I'll do this pretty quickly. If you are not familiar with Koinonia Farm in Americus, Georgia, I encourage you to Google it. This is a truly sustainable community. Clarence Jordan, who is an ordained minister, started Koinonia Farm in 1942 in deep southwest Georgia as a fully integrated community of blacks and whites who worked together to manage the farm, to raise crops, to raise their own food. They worked collaboratively to build homes for one another on the property, and 70 plus years later they still operate much the same way, with visitors and guests filing through at a pretty steady pace just to have the opportunity to experience that success of that community. The Fullers, Millard and Linda Fuller, who actually founded Habitat for Humanity, visited Koinonia in 1965. Millard used to like to say that they stopped for lunch and stayed a month. And so much of what then he rolled over in his mind for another almost a decade became the basis for Habitat for Humanity. And by 1975, the Fullers were in Zaire, working with families there in what became the sort of prototype for Habitat. In 1976, they came back to the States, and the first affiliates here were formed. I think it's important for us to think in terms of when the Fullers first envisioned Habitat, they envisioned it much like Koinonia, that there would be community groups all around the country that would work within their own communities and sustain themselves and provide homeownership opportunities for families there. As this organization has grown in the subsequent 38 years, it's become really evident that to fulfill our vision and our mission, we have to be a little bit more organized. So at this point, we have a strategic plan that looks like this. This is our 2014 through 2018 strategic plan. And you can see at the very foundation of it is to build a sustainable organization. So in terms of being able to continue to do the work that we do, we have to continue to hold to our model, which maintains those criteria for partnership with families, which is to demonstrate the need, to demonstrate the ability to pay, and to demonstrate a willingness to partner. So as our housing solutions have expanded and as our work continues to grow on a global scale, we still keep those three principles in mind as we do our work. So this is what our housing solutions currently look like, and I would say we fall into two categories. We have new home ownership opportunities, and they are represented by rehabilitation and new. And again, all of our policy is that all of our new homes be built to a minimum of Energy Star. We look for all of our work on existing homes to be as sustainable as possible as well. The housing products under repairs are products that we work on in partnership with families who already own their homes. And this may be the most sustainable work we do because we are keeping families in their homes, allowing them to maintain their home ownership, and you know, as we all know, no building is more sustainable than the one that's already built. We started this with a pretty drastic change to our model. We started out with a tendency to think of ourselves as the hub of the wheel, and that everything good came from us. And we finally figured out that that was perhaps a trifle, yeah. So anyway, we now look at, if we are to have sustainable communities, then the community really does have to be the center of the work that we do. And we have to understand and rely on the residents of that community to tell us what it is that makes that community unique, that makes them want to live there, what it is that needs to be changed for that community to remain vital and sustainable, and what role we can play in it. We can have a large hand in bringing the resources to bear, and we try to play that role of identifying and inviting other people to the table. But if we're not working with the residents and working to meet their goals, then we're likely doomed to fail with our efforts. So in fiscal year 2013, and if you want more information on this, our annual report is at habitat.org, and all the numbers are there. But you can see that for the past few years and into the foreseeable future, the work that we're doing on existing homes outpaces the work that we're doing in new home construction. And so it's, you know, one of the things that we don't do well in the construction world is look at that work on existing homes in relation to new home construction. You know, we have, for at least the past 20 years, steadfastly been one of the top 10 builders in the country. But with our shift to more work on existing homes between 2013 and 2014, we fell from 6th to 10th, not because we're serving more families, but because we're doing more work with existing homes. Excuse me. So while the number of structures that we actually impact continues to rise, it's not really reflected in the national numbers. So metrics do matter, and what I want to share with you a little bit right now is some of the results that came about from two studies that were done within Habitat. One was done by our Women's Build department. It was funded by Whirlpool, and the actual collation of the data was done by Southern Indiana University. The other one was done by Minnesota Habitat for Humanity, the state support organization there. And state support organizations provide support to the affiliates in that state to help them be as successful as they can be in their work. And they do a tremendous job in Minnesota of tracking their results. So we looked at impact of home ownership across 5 different areas. The neighborhood perception, family well-being, education, self-esteem, and social capital. There's a lot of numbers up here, and I'm leaving this presentation, so I'm thinking it'll be posted, so I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on it. But I just want to drive home that when people own their home, they're so much more invested in that community, and they take more pride in it, they pay more attention, they know who their neighbors are, they like their neighborhood better. It's just a much richer, fuller quality of life for them. Family well-being is a huge qualifier for us as well, and you can read the statistics and percentages as well as I can. What I really want to share with you is this quote from a Habitat homeowner, that Habitat allowed me the chance to be better, a better person, able to manage money and time better, which in turn allows me to be a better parent. And I think this is the kind of social change, right along with more education and keeping up with technology, that is going to really help us provide sustainable communities going forward. Education, we see routinely that children do better in school. There's an unbelievable percentage of children who move into Habitat homes who then actually go on to college and graduate from college. In relation to their peers who do not have the advantage of home ownership. It's remarkable. Self-esteem, and I think through our model, this is even more impactful because our families do partner, because they are engaged from day one all the way through, because they are learning new skill sets. They're learning to interact with the people that come and work on their house. They're learning to be a better neighbor. So it's really exciting to see what happens in communities, just as people begin to feel better about themselves. And then social capital, which I think is probably not recognized enough most of the time. But what happens when someone has confidence in themselves, has a stable foundation, and can know where they're coming home to every night, know where they're leaving from every day, know that their children are safe, it really is completely life-changing. So our mission statement is seeking to put God's love into action. Habitat for Humanity brings people together to build homes, communities, and hope. So this has been our mission statement for as long as I can remember, and that key word about really understanding communities and understanding what that means is just the foundation that we build from today. So I would challenge you, what will you build sustainably? Thank you very much.